Well, I definitely feel he has brought about revolutionary changes, and we must applaud the court under his leadership. But broadly, there has been a perception that the court has not been doing enough to stand up for civil liberties.
Hi, I'm Ananya, and it is a matter of huge pride and privilege because we have with us Mr. Raju Ramachandran, who's a senior advocate at Supreme Court of India and who has also been the Additional Solicitor General in the year 2002. Mr. Ramachandran has served as an amicus curiae in the 2002 Gujarat Riots case and also in the appeal in the Ajmal Kasab 2008 Mumbai attacks case. Brought up in Delhi, Mr. Ramachandran studied economics from St. Stephen's College and initially wanted to be a journalist. But the case of Nand Bharti judgment had such an impact that he chose to study law and did his law from the Faculty of Law, Delhi University. Welcome, Mr. Ramachandran. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ananya, for having me and for that very kind introduction.
Just recently, Justice Nagaratna and Justice Bhuiyan have delivered their final verdict in the Bilkis Bano case. How do you see that judgment?
Well, I think it's a major judgment. It's a great judgment which vindicates the rule of law. Better late than never. I do feel that things needn't have reached this stage, that Bilkis Bano had to move against the remission after the release was done and they've been out of jail for 1.5 years. If the Supreme Court had passed a correct judgment in May 2022, this wouldn't have been necessary at all. But as I said, better late than never.
Absolutely.
And this has been, I would call this a thumping judgment. Yes.
Absolutely. So do you think this judgment will have political ramifications? And how do you see it? I mean, will it have a political impact?
Well, I'm not competent to comment on politics as such, but looking at the reactions which have already come, I'm sure that the opposition would take advantage of this judgment to make the point that the ruling party has tacitly supported the convicts in this case. The state government of Gujarat has been held by the Supreme Court as being complicit.
Abuse of power.
And therefore, I'm sure political points will be made. And also, if you remember from contemporary reports at that time, one of the members of the remission committee was a BJP MLA who went on to praise the convicts, calling them sanskari Brahmins and things like that. So there's bound to be a political slugfest.
Absolutely. Also, do you think that the state governments are going to be more careful in future with the kind of reaction or the judgment that has been pronounced with the abuse of power as a term which has been used for the Gujarat government and the remission has been cancelled out? So do you think they'll be more careful in future?
No, I don't think so, because I think governments of different hues are thick-skinned. They will do what they want to do.
As a lawyer and as an advocate, of course, how do you see there is a chance for the convicts? Is there anything that they can do? Like, of course, they've got a judgment. Can they file for like a special appeal or?
No, theoretically, they can ask for a review of this judgment.
Absolutely.
So they have 30 days to do that.
So
if they are so advised, they may do it. But beyond that, there's no further. And if the review is dismissed, then as far as the Supreme Court is concerned, there's only one other avenue open, which is something called a curative petition.
Seeing the trend of judiciary in the recent cases, there's the Adani Hindenburg case, the abrogation of Article 370, the extension of the ED director. Opposition says that the court is working somewhere in the influence, under the influence of the government. What do you think?
I don't want to comment on particular cases.
Right.
Because there'll always be cases where one side or the other is disappointed.
Right.
And in a given case, a judgment in favor of the executive can be a right judgment also. The court is not here to strike down
everything. Yeah.
Decision of the government.
Yes.
But broadly, there has been a perception that the court has not been doing enough
right.
to stand up for civil liberties and for democratic rights, and that the court, in the face of this brute majority which the ruling party enjoys in parliament, and therefore when I say majoritarian, now I'm not meaning it in the communal sense, but in the sense of sheer majority, the court has not been strong enough. And there have been occasions in the past also, in the case of earlier governments also, where the court has disappointed. So there has been a sense of disappointment. Absolutely. But it's judgments like these which redeem the citizens' faith, and where the court redeems itself.
So do you think like judgments like the Bilkis Bano case, they kind of squash down the notion that the court is not doing enough? You know, does it, again, it reinstates the faith in the people, but at the same time...
Let's say for the next week or 10 days, let's all be happy.
Right.
There can be another disappointing judgment.
Of course.
And we'll be disappointed again. So it may be a series of...
For the time being,
disappointments and periods of elation.
Right. Okay. So there was a recent controversy regarding the listing of cases in Justice Call's court in particular, where a case seemed to have been deleted from the cause list. What do you have to say about that?
No, that was definitely something very, very surprising.
Right.
That was something very, very surprising.
Yeah.
And we still don't know why it happened.
Why? And I mean, the case was not there. And
that's right. And it was something crucial involving appointments to the court.
What
and
do you think?
Call had been taking a strong stand. I don't want to speculate on what could have been the reason, but the point is, this was a very unhappy situation that a case got deleted like this.
CJI DY Chandrachud has introduced a lot of reforms in the past in the past year specifically. There's online filing of RTI and the integrated case management system. So how do you think that has affected or impacted the regular proceedings at courts?
Well, I definitely feel he has brought about revolutionary changes, and we must applaud the court under his leadership.
Absolutely.
For really changing the face of judicial proceedings and how they are conducted in court. Important cases are now being heard and are being heard on platforms like iPad.
Yes, of course.
Paperless courts. People are able to address the court from other places.
Right.
So lawyers and litigants don't have to travel all the way to Delhi.
Saves a lot of time.
It saves a lot of time and expenditure. So this revolution in the way the courts function, and hybrid hearings, that you have physical hearings also, one lawyer from one side can appear in person, and the other lawyer from another location can address virtually.
Yes.
These are all welcome innovations.
Right. I mean, with the times that are changing, it's nice to see the courts evolving so that it's easier for the people and the professionals. Judiciary is considered as one of the pillars of democracy, independent of executive and legislature. Do you think in today's times we can still stand by the statement that judiciary is independent, and how do you see it as a pillar of democracy in today's time, the current scenario?
It remains a pillar of democracy.
Absolutely.
It remains independent in spite of many disappointments which come our way. But it can definitely do much, much better.
Also, how do you think, you've been in the profession for almost 5 decades, how do you think it has evolved. How do you think the judiciary has evolved? How the professionals, and how do you think it has become now, and what do you think its role will be in the future?
First of all, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Old is not always gold. So
right.
I'm not one of those old timers who will say that the past was golden.
Right.
And the present is a mess.
Right. No.
I think there are many things which have improved.
Right.
In terms of the quality of justice.
Right.
In terms of the quality of lawyers who are practicing, not always in terms of the quality of the judges, I'm afraid.
Of course.
The profession has become far more egalitarian in the years that I have been in the profession. It is no longer an entirely hereditary and dynastic profession.
Yes.
Men and women of merit from different backgrounds and different socio-economic strata have been able to make it.
Right.
And I think today the legal profession and the courts are a far more egalitarian, gender-friendly place.
Absolutely. And do you think how is it going to impact the future, and how do you think judiciary will be in the future?
Well, when you are part of a system, one must proceed with hope.
Right.
One can't afford to be cynical.
True.
One can only, and I'm speaking for myself as a senior member of the bar, be a critic, but be a constructive critic. And hope for the best.
Yes.
I think there's always
scope for improvement.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
And dusk is always followed by the morn.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Ramachandran, for being here and giving your views. We really appreciate you giving us this time. Thank you.
Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.